good, y'all? So I want to know King Cal 516 live in the mix. This is the Swiss Flames podcast. I want you guys to be on the lookout before the regular season hits. I'm going to break down who I believe are the top 8 teams in the East and the top 8 teams in the West. It's going to be 2 different, episodes that I get out to you guys, but it's going to be the top teams in the East, top teams in the West, the top 8 of both divisions. So with that said, conferences rather. With that said, we're going to dive into today. And this is going to have nothing to do with what I'm seeing in the preseason, but I'm going to explain to you why I believe the Miami Heat are a dark horse team this year that can contend for an NBA title. But before I do that, please check out the website at www.swissflames.com. Hit us up on Twitter at Swiss Flames, and definitely check out the Facebook and YouTube page at Swiss Flames Podcast. And so I believe the Miami Heat are definitely a dark horse team this year that can contend. And I'm going to break it down first with 2 acquisitions they got this summer. Acquisition number 1, and this is one of the few things that I did believe and totally agree with in that NBA GM survey when they said that Kyle Lowry basically was the best acquisition of the offseason. You know what I'm saying? Of all the free agent signings, to me, I totally agree Kyle Lowry was the best free agent signing for any team this offseason. Kyle Lowry, let's just break this down. Miami's big weakness is scoring enough points in the playoffs, right? They don't have enough people who can put the ball in the basket when the defense is crunched down. So they usually don't get enough scoring. They play a hell of defense, but they just haven't had enough scoring. That's part of the reason why they couldn't win the championship against the Lakers. They didn't have enough scoring. And so I believe they've addressed this situation in the offseason. Now, have they done it perfectly? No. But here's how they definitely addressed the situation in a way. Kyle Lowry is the best point guard they've had in years, right? He's probably the best point guard they had since LeBron James left, when LeBron was kind of running a point forward kind of thing. He's probably the best guy they've had since then, hands down, as far as running the offense. Now, Goran Dragic can score. Kyle Lowry and Goran Dragic will average about the same amount of points. But what separates Kyle Lowry from Goran Dragic and why Kyle Lowry is the better player is because Kyle Lowry is of a higher tier when it comes to playmaking. So yes, Goran Dragic and Kyle Lowry score about the same points, but how much offensively Kyle Lowry affects the game on the offensive standpoint for the team is far greater than Goran Dragic. So Kyle Lowry, as far as assists, as far as getting guys buckets, as far as getting guys great, high-quality looks, takes the cake from Goran Dragic. That is where the Miami Heat will step up, because Kyle Lowry will be the top playmaker on the team, and now he slides Jimmy Butler to be more of a secondary playmaker. So it's going to take a lot of pressure off of Jimmy Butler. That's really crucial, because now Jimmy Butler can focus on other things and be dynamic in other areas and putting more of his energy in other areas. I felt like Jimmy Butler needed to do too much for the Miami Heat to be really, really great. And this season, the Miami Heat have kind of helped Jimmy Butler, where they can pinpoint Jimmy to focus more on certain things at a higher level and not spend his energy trying to do everything too much, right? So I believe this is where they've helped him with the acquisitions. Both these acquisitions that they got this season, have helped Jimmy Butler. We're getting to the second one in a second, who also helps him. But finish up with Kyle Lowry. The other thing what's great about Kyle Lowry is that he's going to help Bam out of Bayou, right? Bam off the pick and roll with Kyle Lowry is going to get a lot more easy buckets. And you're going to see Miami Heat this year offense, to me, is going to be a lot more fluid because Kyle Lowry is running. He's a guy that as soon as he gets the ball, he's looking downfield. If you're running down court, he's going to get you the ball as soon as he sees you open. And so they're going to get a lot of easy buckets, guys. Their offense is going to flow smoothly. Eric Spoelstra is a high-end coach, and believe me, Kyle Lowry is going to be an extension of Eric Spoelstra on that court to a degree that they haven't had in years. And so if you're a Miami Heat fan, this is what you need to be excited for, because your weaknesses, to me, has been you can't score enough on the offensive side, and your offense gets stagnant. You get dry offensively in spurts. And so come playoff time, with Kyle Lowry healthy, this team healthy, they can make a run in the playoffs. That could be kind of scary because they have some weapons on the team that can get the job done. And so Kyle Lowry, big acquisition. The other thing with Kyle Lowry is defensively, he's going to help get a lot of turnovers on defense. This guy is great with taking charges. He puts his body on line. He's a short player, but he's got some solid meat to him. You know what I'm saying? He's a physical point guard. Even though he's small, he's got some weight to him. He's not a push around, but he sure can take some charges there and help turn over that ball on defense. He's a little feisty on defense. He's going to put a little pressure on those point guards. And so this is going to help Miami definitely in that point guard position. They took a step forward this season by that Kyle Lowry acquisition. The other acquisition that, helps them a lot, especially I'm not worried about so much in the regular season, but come playoff time, is PJ Tucker. Now, part of sometimes you get better than your opponents is you weaken them. So the Bucks just beat the Heat this past season, right? PJ Tucker was a part of that. So now you weaken the Bucks by taking PJ Tucker away from them. And who is PJ Tucker? Well, PJ Tucker is one of the better 3-and-D wing defenders out there in the league, right? He's a very physical player. He's not tall, but he can guard much taller players and cause havoc because he gets right up on top of you. He doesn't give you any space. So he becomes this little pest on the court. Now, Kevin Durant went off on PJ Tucker. Yes, he was able to still score his points, but PJ Tucker definitely made it hard for Kevin Durant. And that's all you can ask. So now, once again, you help Jimmy Butler because now you give him somebody else who can do things at a high level and now take some of the pressure off of Jimmy. So what this awards the Heat with is that come playoff time, they can really have Jimmy Butler focus a lot more on scoring the basketball and scoring more points and not having to exert his energy by always, being the main guy defending the top player on the other team, on the wing, right? Now, Jimmy welcomes those matchups, but now the Heat have options because my guess, especially come playoff time, PJ Tucker probably be starting alongside Jimmy Butler, right? Those guys would be the wings. And then, you have probably Bam, I would assume, at the center. And then you would have the backcourt of Kyle Lowry and probably Duncan Robinson, right? In the backcourt. That's a tough starting five, right? That to me, that's a tough starting five. And now you can mix and match Jimmy. You can kind of alternate, take turns with who's guarding between Jimmy and PJ Tucker, who's guarding the team's best wing on the opposition side, right? So these acquisitions, like I said, both help Jimmy Butler. And the Heat are going to be able to help Jimmy Butler focus on other things and put more energy into that. And so that Jimmy Butler is not overly tired trying to do everything with the increase in minutes that he will get in the playoffs. So those two moves are crucial for the Heat. And I think you're going to see it pay them off dividends in the playoffs for sure. Now, as far as just young players that they need to take a step forward, this is the other half of why I believe the Miami Heat will take a step forward and be a dark horse contender this year. Bam Adebayo, I think, will take a step forward, especially on the offensive end this season. I think his scoring average will go up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll be a little bit even more efficient of a player because of Kyle Lowry. I think Kyle Lowry will definitely get Bam a lot more easier buckets. The big question I have with Bam is just, can he develop a steady mid-range jumper? I don't think he really needs to be a three-point shooter, but can he do a steady mid-range and be respectable to pull out the big that he has on him out a little further, to make the Rudy Goberts respect him, to make the Jokers respect him, to make the Joel Embiids respect him, where they have to come out and definitely respect his jump shot. Because if they do that, not only in the pick and roll will they be deadly, but in that pick and pop could add more options, to the offense of what they can do, especially if Bam is able to consistently hit that mid-range. So we'll see if Bam has improved that, because if he has, then man, and I believe that's what Bam has to do to take a step forward. And I would be surprised if he hasn't been practicing that. So we'll see if Bam does that, because like I said, if Bam gets a consistent mid-range, it's going to take that offense of the Heat once again to another level, in which is what they need. And Tyler Herro's the other guy. Tyler Herro did not have a great season last season. He the Heat probably were not happy with Tyler Herro. That's what the rumors said. Remember, Tyler Herro was in James Harden rumors, and if you look back now, the Heat, the better move looked like you probably should have went for James Harden. You know what I mean? And the fact that you didn't go for James Harden probably wasn't the best decision if you were a Miami Heat fan. Tyler Herro was a holdup. They did not want to put Tyler Herro in any James Harden talk. So the kind of season he had probably was disappointing for the Heat, considering that, James Harden was on the table. Now, with that said, the Heat challenged Tyler Herro to put on some weight, and as far as I know, it looked like he put on at least 10 pounds, as far as we know. He just has to be consistent from the outside. He has to be aggressive, and Tyler Herro is better off the bounce and scoring than Duncan Robinson. So even though he's a dynamic three-point shooter, off the bounce, he's better off the bounce than Duncan Robinson, where Duncan Robinson is primarily a catch-and-shoot guy. Tyler Herro has some handles to him. And so we'll see if Tyler Herro takes a step forward, but the Heat really need this guy to be a consistent scorer. And if Tyler Herro can get back to being consistent, more like he was in his rookie season, but even better, yeah, this Heat team is going to be dangerous. So they're a dark horse to me. I believe they're very dangerous. If the chips fall all in the right position, the Heat, might be right there with the Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks and challenging for an NBA title. So we'll see how this all unfolds. But once again, just remember, guys, I'm not basing anything off the preseason. My whole thing about the preseason is just that, hey, that's a way of players just to get into their rhythm, and coaches to play around with different lineups. play around with some players that they might be trying out to see if they're going to make the team. The main players aren't playing the majority of the minutes in preseason, so I take preseason with 5 grains. So this is me clearly just basing this off of what their weaknesses was last year, how they addressed it in the offseason, and how I feel like players they have on the team can take a step forward this season. With that said, it's your boy King Cal 516. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Miami is a dark horse team? Do you think they have a shot at the title? Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Definitely appreciate your support. Signing off. Swiss Stream Podcast, y'all.